Alright, so with this one, well, this one's a little earlier, so black in this game is a 27Q against HelloBot13. And just like in 19 by 19 games, and in all boards, go for the corners first. So this is a really good common opening. So is this, and this is okay. Now, kind of like what I mentioned with the 9 by 9, fourth line, the fourth line is a good line for getting points, and is harder for your opponent to go on the third line if you have a base to reduce and take away points. And then the third line is more of a territorial, more solid territorial base where it's nearly impossible to invade and capture a group. And anything higher is going to be focused on the center. Anything on the second or first is slow. So this move is on the fifth line from the right. And that leaves the option of white to play below it. So black's gaining nothing on the right side, while white is gaining a lot of potential for the corner. If something like this happened, white can play over here and do the same thing, while being able to reduce this black potential at a later time of the game because of how wide this is. Far too wide. But if you don't understand that, that's okay. Now, there are instances where there are styles regarding fifth line and higher, but for newer players, I want to say don't play them. Worry about the corners and the sides before anything. And actually here, probably could do that. Anyway. So black is ahead, is again going ahead with, I mean, it's okay here because it's on the fourth line, but it is a little wide in both directions. White goes ahead and takes advantage of that fifth line stone. Black continues to spread out, which is good. You can go here. I say that because if white is to play here, then you have to push down. And white will get more potential to build up that corner. Whereas if you play here, whoops, and if white plays here, you can do a Hane and push instead. So that simple difference between these two, J10 and J11, keep that sort of thing in mind. Okay, those are okay. Go ahead and add another move up here. Sure, it's overplay for white to play G11, but if you don't respond to it, white can live in there. H3 is a good, nice move, but there's bigger things that can be done. And again with the attaching, it only makes your opponent stronger. Just go ahead and make an iron wall. An iron wall is when you have a stone, two stones attached on one on the fourth line and another on the third line. It's very strong, very solid, very thick. And with this attachment, it leaves a weakness for black. Don't expect I don't expect any newer players to get this in their heads the first time. But this is a Joseki shape. The kick. And if you know this shape, then you know that black's weakness for Aji is at A, the 3-3 point. Because of how these two stones are and how this iron wall is sitting. If you want to look into it, go ahead. But for keeping the video as short as possible, I will go ahead and leave that for another time. So feel free to go ahead and look at it to get that in your head. And what white does is not the proper response, the proper sequence either. So I'll actually just show the sequence of what white can do. White can play here and do this. Or this. And I'll go into detail about that at a later time. My throat. Okay. Extend upwards. For one, this is bad shape. It's an empty triangle. Never play empty triangles. Unless it is the only way to connect to a group or to surround, capture, so forth. With this, no. With this, it makes it harder to gain as many points as if black did something else. For example, this. It's a longer wall and can get more out of it. See, now when black plays this, that d6 stone looks pointless now. So why even bother playing d6 if you can play e5? And as white can play this instead. So here you want to block off white. You don't want to say or think, if I block here, my opponent's going to live. Well, how's white going to live? White can maybe play that or this, but where is white going to get the eyes and potential to do that? Black has a lot of stones in this center to be able to cut off white and capture it by blocking off. By playing this, it allows white the opportunity to cut underneath, connect underneath, while black gains hardly anything out of it. It's a little slow for a move. That one is also not needed. I mean, you can play this. This is a bamboo connection. Oops. These four. And there's nothing to worry about. I mean, if you worry about something, think about what your opponent might do in your worried state. Like, we can think, if we're worried about this cut, just think about this Atari. Where's white going to go? There's nothing white can do. So if you're worried about something, read through it. Take your time. But a move like c9, far too slow. These are okay. White, maybe not. Now, Dame, you also don't want to fill up. until the very end, but not needed at all. You don't get any points unless it's a liberty chase. Here, just go ahead and protect that corner. L10, don't even need to think about playing. And here, probably just do this. Because what happened after that is that black went into ko, but instead tries to go for another ko, and white is just taking all of these free points. And again here, more potential to push through. Black can just hane. Try to think ahead. Don't think, oh, I'm going to put him in ko. And then if they take him, oh, I'm going to put him in another ko. He'll probably play somewhere else. Don't think that. Don't think that you'll get 2 moves in a row. And another thing I want to point out, slow moves. Sure, it's a ko for a point, but black can play down here for more points, a lot more points. Probably the biggest part of the board right now, other than that for higher level players. But down here probably should be what the thinking is on. With time, I'll get better with my wording and my teaching. Long college life. And here, self-Ataris. Don't ever play a self-Atari. Just extend out. There's really no reason. And along with M8, why do you play it? White can easily say, oh, I'm going to play elsewhere. And if black were to try playing here, white can just capture it and be safe. Think about the liberties in these sorts of situations. Sure, this Blackstone has 3 liberties, and so does white. But with this move here, they both have 2 again, and white can easily put black in Atari. So just read through and think about liberties. And don't play self-Ataris either. And with this game, wanting for ko is huge. Go ahead and do a Atari here. And here. There's nothing to worry about. But with how this turned out, it looks like white gets to live. And why play here when you can play here? Here you get to capture those 2 stones. Even though in this game it looks like white gets to keep the corner. And that's because of this move right here. Right here. Just do an Atari. Just don't let... When you get the chance, look at corner, life and death, and eye shape. That'll definitely be huge. And make for huge improvements in your games. And again, there was Dame. Can just play here right away. Or push through. And no need to play that. There's really no need. Just go with Sente. And poke at white. And not that. Even though at this point it's a loss for black. So I probably won't go into too much detail about anything else. Although again, here, don't just give your opponent free connection. Don't allow it. Especially if there's nothing else on the board to worry too much about. And yeah, white was ahead by quite a bit in this game. I believe it was 20 something. No, 30. Yeah, 30 and a half. But anyway, that is that. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this, and I will see you next time. Later.